We are Southeastern 16. I'm Chase Robinson, talking Arkansas football and specifically what is Arkansas's formula to success the rest of the season. Look, the Hogs are 4-2 right now. They've got good wins over Arkansas Pine Bluff and a blowout win to start the season, but they've beaten UAB. They got wins over Auburn and most recently the big win, the win over number 4 at the time, the Tennessee Volunteers this past Saturday night, 19-14. They were able to make some stops and get the win there on their home field there in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Their losses this season come to Oklahoma State 39-31 and Texas A&M 21-17. So it's been an interesting year for Arkansas. And so I've got three things that I think are the formula to success for Arkansas to be successful the rest of the season. I think we've seen their potential. Obviously, we've seen what they could do taking down the Tennessee Volunteers, giving them their first loss of the season. So the first thing I think of when I think of what can Arkansas do, and it's something I saw in this game against Tennessee, and I've seen it at other times as well for Arkansas, and that is the amount of pressure that they could put on their opposing quarterbacks. Going into Saturday, the Hogs only had 10 sacks through the first 5 games of the season, and they had 4 against Tennessee. They sacked Nico 4 times, and I thought the amount of pressure that they put on Tennessee forced them to make mistakes. They had holding penalty. They had a blocking downfield penalty. It put Nico in some situations, especially late in the game, where he was forced to make decisions, where he had pressure. He was having to scramble out and look for an option, look for somewhere to go, force the ball in. So I thought the amount of pressure that they were able to put on Nico was really good and helped them win this game and force them in a position that they haven't been in much this season. Now, I do like the offensive line of Tennessee, but I also like the pass rush that I saw as well for Arkansas. And I think that says a lot about the Hogs, the amount of pressure that they were able to put on the Volunteers and shut down a lot of what Tennessee has been doing good this year, and that's running the football and Nico being the elite quarterback that he is. Arkansas able to put a stop to that. So I think the pressure that they put on the quarterback, the run game, kind of putting pressure on them and making them make quick decisions and making them make mistakes, I think is really big for Arkansas moving forward. And that's something that they could do week in and week out and maybe throw in some different things when it comes into pressure. But I think the pressure and the amount of pressure they put on Tennessee was definitely beneficial for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Second thing I think, and this is a big one for teams to stay in games, I think another thing that Arkansas can do to be successful this year is win the time of possession. And for a team like Arkansas, who we know they can run the football, they can do some different things and be creative. Right now, they're 15th in the nation in time of possession with an average of 33.05 when it comes to having the football minutes per game. I go back to several games this season against Oklahoma State. The second quarter, Arkansas had the ball for 12 minutes and 5 seconds out of 15 minutes in the second quarter. So they held the ball for almost the entire second quarter, and they were leading and looked really good. It was the second half when in that Oklahoma State game when the time of possession really evened out, and then that's when Oklahoma State came back, took the lead, and took it to overtime and able to win that game. But the first half was completely controlled by Arkansas, and especially that second quarter when they had the football for 12 minutes and 5 seconds and only gave Oklahoma State the ball for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. That was huge in that game, which led to them leading there in that game at halftime. I'll look at the Auburn game then. The totality of the Auburn game, Arkansas had the most time of possession with 36 minutes and 36 seconds there in that game. But in the first quarter, Arkansas had the ball for 11 minutes of the 15 minutes. So they held the ball for 11 minutes in the first quarter of that Auburn game. And in the fourth quarter of that game, they had the ball 10 of 15 minutes. So, again, they controlled the time of possession in that win against Auburn. And then you look at the Tennessee game this past week. In the first half, Tennessee had the ball for 20 minutes and 43 seconds of the 30 minutes of the first half. So they controlled the clock in the first half of this Tennessee game. Again, in the first quarter against Tennessee, they had the ball. Arkansas had the ball for 12 minutes and 8 seconds, leaving Tennessee with the ball for only 2 minutes and 52 seconds there against Tennessee. So it's not hard to figure out when you have the ball, the other team doesn't and can't score. And so the longer you hold the ball, the longer you can sustain these drives and control the time of possession, the less time the opposing team has to put points on the board. And so, and if that works for an offense like Arkansas, where they run the ball so well, and Taylon Green can move things up and down. Jaquinda Jackson can get loose. And so controlling the time of possession, no matter who's in it, quarterback or what's going on in the game, controlling that time, sustaining these long drives, and just running the clock down. Hey, that works for Arkansas. We've seen it this year in these wins against Auburn and Tennessee. They've controlled the clock, and the time of possession has really been in Arkansas's favor, which I think is a big bonus for the Razorbacks. Before we get into our third point, I want to remind you, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform. If you're looking to bet on the Hogs, they are your number one source for everything football, every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you think you know your stuff, you can get in on a $200,000 mega contest. Pick 5 games against the spread every week. That'll give you a chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, you can go to the online casino. They've got blackjack, poker, 150 slots games there. So head over to their website today, betonline.ag. BetOnline, the game starts here. So the third thing, if I'm making a formula for Arkansas for success for the rest of the season, is finishing drives. And we saw that against Tennessee. Look, first half versus Tennessee, Arkansas outgained the Vols over 150 yards, but they only led 3-0. Twice on fourth down, they were stopped. They missed a field goal. A couple of botched snaps forced a field goal on a drive where that could have very easily ended in 6 points. But yet they still were able to win even through these stops on fourth down or missed field goals or bad snaps, whatever it is. They were still able to find a way to win, which I think is big in finishing a game. But, finish these drives. Don't get in situations where you make mistakes and are forced to punt or they're getting points if you kick a field goal. But hey, you put yourself in a situation where you're not able to score or you do miss a field goal. So finish drives, but off of finishing drives, finish games. They showed that, and I love Sam Pittman in his post-game interview. He alluded that, hey, we finally won a close game. You got to see us win one of these close games that Arkansas has lost a lot of. I mean, the 2 losses this season, Oklahoma State, 39-33. That was an overtime game. Couldn't finish it. Texas A&M, 21-17. They fumbled it. Texas A&M was able to get it and win it. So many close games for Arkansas that they have not been able to win. They finally get one on their side against Tennessee. Maybe that will help them in these close games, seeing, hey, they can finish. But I think finishing drives during the game will help them be able to finish these games. So those are 3 things for the Arkansas Razorbacks that I feel like can help them as a formula for success for the rest of the 2024 season. We got you covered with all things Arkansas and the rest of the SEC here on Southeastern 16. Subscribe to our channel if you have not already. We got you covered after the games with reaction. We have predictions for all the games early in the week before game day, so you can watch those and get ready for the game. But we got you covered here. I'm Chase Robinson. We are Southeastern 16, brought to you by BetOnline.